Right now, we're starting with the Eagles hosting the Broncos. Jalen Hurts locked in as usual. Danny, how scary are the undefeated Eagles?
I think they're terrifying.
Really?
Yeah, because they look like a team that should be 1-3 or 2-2, and they're undefeated. Like they're 31st in the NFL in passing. The only worst passing team, the Tennessee Titans. This doesn't make any sense. Like you've been making the comp that the 25 Eagles are the 24 Chiefs. Mm-hmm. But we knew why the 2024 Chiefs struggled offensively. Xavier Worthy's a rookie. 4 different guys at left tackle. Rashee Rice is hurt. Isaiah Pacheco wasn't the same since the injury. Why are the Eagles struggling offensively? Like Kevin Patullo and vibes? Like they'll probably figure it out. They have they have too much talent not to. So the fact that they've gone undefeated against this schedule while looking this bad means that their ceiling is terrifying.
Well, so maybe I'm looking at it differently. I agree with you that it is reason for long-term optimism that they are winning despite not playing well. But because of how they're playing right now, to me, they are not a scary team. Right now, like in this regard, I think any team that plays the Eagles right now is like, we can beat them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's weird
That's
because
the case
they have
every team in the NFL.
No, well, but yes, I understand you go into games thinking you can win, but the Eagles right now, to me, even though they've lost once in a calendar year at this point, don't have the same invincibility that we were talking about with the Chiefs last year. You know what I mean? Or that it even felt like they had at different points, they being the Eagles, last season themselves, because every game they've played, the other team feels like they're right there, and it feels like the Eagles aren't doing anything on either side of the ball that you're like, man, what are we going to do with that? Last year, people went into every game like, what are we going to do with Saquon? And nobody could do anything with it. Like, so I think there is great reason for optimism for the Eagles over the course of the season, but I don't think the Broncos walk into this game feeling like the Eagles are a juggernaut, even though they have the record of a juggernaut.
I'm with Danny, who clearly watched my take from yesterday on this.
Wow.
I watched the show.
Yeah.
No. They are playing their D game. They brought their D game to Kansas City and won. They brought their D game against the Rams and won. They brought their D game against Tampa Bay and won. You could say they spotted the Rams a huge lead and just said, okay, let's turn it up. They had a switch, and they turned on that switch. And Danny's right, like, they are not running the ball. I don't think Saquon Barkley is washed at all. There's not a fiber in my being that thinks he's washed. I expect him to, I don't expect last year, but I think he'll get it going. They obviously have 2 very good receivers. Jalen Hurts has shown he can throw the football, even if he's not doing it well in spurts here. The offensive line has not been what it typically is, so I think that'll get better. And I do think that defense is improving. Like Cooper DeJean, I think is becoming a star. So I just expect them to not get better every game of this, going on weekly. But if I'm Philadelphia, I'm like, man, we ain't even playing well. And we beating the 3 of the elite teams in the league.
So I agree that the Eagles have a ton of reason for optimism. But I guess the way I look at it, and I'll ask you, like last year, if you were playing the Eagles, you walked into that game feeling like, man, they might have the best defense in football that we're up against. You don't feel that way right now. And the other thing you felt like is just pencil Saquon in for if he has a $105, we did great. Yep. And why this isn't a knock on Jalen. I don't think at any point have you been terrified of the Eagles' passing game. It's just not what they've leaned into. You know what I mean? He can make the throws, but it's just right now, if you are in the Broncos game planning room, what do the Eagles do right now that scares you? What is it?
Just red zone efficiency. They get in there and it's like, all right, now.
Yeah, I mean the tush push. Yeah, we can't let them. That part of it, like that. So yeah, that's a good point. But I don't think Saquon's washed either. But I do think we are seeing the effects of however many touches he had last year. Like I don't think Saquon this season is all of a sudden come week 8 going to be 125 a game again. So, like, I just think they're fundamentally a less ominous team than they were last season.
But the fact that they've been winning against the teams they've played, what do you think about that?
I find it impressive, and I think winning is a skill, but I just don't think I think right now teams are more intimidated, so to speak, by Buffalo than by Philadelphia. I think
End
teams,
of list.
I think they are more intimidated right now by Detroit than Philadelphia.
Maybe. That's the only other one that I would say
yeah.
is a debate. Detroit's offense has been great the last 3 weeks. What they did defensively to Baltimore, I think maybe that you could debate that one. But, like, we've seen them look scary for stretches of time. Like, that second half against the Rams was like, oh, that's an explosive team that could
First half against Tampa Bay?
First half against Tampa Bay. So while I don't know if they'll do it against Denver this week, and Denver's defense is very good, I do think a breakout performance by Philly feels inevitable.
Maybe
and they'll probably be
put some
undefeated.
tomato cans on the schedule. Like, everything's been so tough. It's just because the Bills got to beat up on,
No, but
the Jets.
but
The
we
Rams
have
got to beat up on the Titans.
except we've said though that the Cowboys defense is supposed to be a tomato can. We said like the Cowboys, Detroit put up 50.
They treated
Caleb
it
had the
like
game
that
of his life
in the first half.
You're right, but what did they score? 24 in that game.
Yeah, then after the delay.
Yeah, and so that piece of it, and so I don't know. Like, I think they're a great team. I don't think they're a scary team right now.
Fair. Commanders at Chargers. That's going to be Sunday at 4 on Fox. Jane's going to be back. Herbert looking to bounce back. Are you expecting a bounce back game for Justin Herbert?
So
here it comes.
Here
it starts. Earlier than I thought. Here come the hedge.
I promised Nick that this was the no excuses tour for Justin Herbert.
Thank you.
I promised.
Because I knew it. Because you can set your watch to it.
I promised.
The Chargers are great. They're in a great position. Things go a little awry. It's not Herbert's fault.
It's gone a lot awry on the
go.
offensive line. I mean, this is a little crazy what's happened to him. They invested in their offensive line with Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater, arguably the best tackle duo in the NFL. They paid Mekhi Becton in free agency, and it's week 5, and all of them are out. And if we show you Justin Herbert week 1 and 2, this was without Slater, but he had Alt and Becton. The pressure percentage was down. The pass attempts are way up. He's not taking sacks. He's not taking hits, and he looks like the MVP. The last 2 weeks, his pressure rate is higher than it was in that Texans game when he threw the 4 interceptions, and now he's got a Commanders team coming in that is harassing opposing team quarterbacks, and we don't know if Becton's going to play and Alt isn't. So I'm with you on no excuses. But
you're not expecting a bounce back.
But this is a lot for anyone to overcome.
So
it just objectively is.
So this is,
He just listed about 5 excuses.
I know.
This train is never late.
I knew I walked into that trap, and I walked into it anyway.
Last year.
It's just objectively true.
Last year, they got to let Justin Herbert throw the ball more. They have to take the handcuffs off him. It's unfair. Last week, can he get some help from the running game? The guy's averaging 10 yards a carry. Can you let him hand the ball off a little bit more? Herbert is a super talented player. Nobody denies that. But he would have to be the unluckiest player in league history if his talent matches what some of the Herbert sycophants believe it is, and he just simply always is just, the situation's unsustainable. Like, the Commanders are not a great defense. They pressure the quarterback.
Right.
They're at home. He's coming off his first truly bad game of the year. If he is at Peyton Manning 2.0 and the MVP of the league through September, he has to bounce back, right? The Chiefs all of a sudden got their mojo back. You need to keep pace with them. Like this, if you believe in Justin Herbert, you have to believe he's going to have an excellent game this week.
And I believe in him, and I think he will. And Alt got hurt in game, and now he gets to prepare for his offensive lineman to be out, so that should help. But I'm just saying, a lot of guys out.
There is no conviction in you.
See,
I'm scared.
Tempted. You have such lack of. You are displaying such a lack of faith.
You cannot do this. This has become a thing for you now.
hold on.
What?
It's unchristian-like.
Are you going to steal
He
Herbert?
takes everybody's takes.
You're giving them away.
No, wait a minute.
No, not your
He's gonna
takes.
become
I'm not taking anybody's takes.
Okay.
I'm just saying you're abandoning your quarterbacks.
Oh,
there,
that was right.
I'm
That's
there
what
to
you were
welcome
about
them
to
in.
say.
Yes,
you
I'm
were
there
about to
to
say you
welcome
were going to be the Herbert guy.
I'm just tossing it out there. I was going to say I'm tempted to go ahead and welcome Justin Herbert with open arms.
available.
But I don't believe he's
available.
going to have the bounce back game this
It's
week.
100% available.
How is
So why are you jumping on me?
I know.
How am
I
I
was get-
ceding any ground on that? I'm just
You have no faith in your
I'm
guy.
pointing out an objective
No.
fact that that's a lot for him to overcome. He won the game against Denver despite the pressure. He lost last week against the Giants. He needs to win this one, but I'm a little worried.
So this is my point.
I don't think
This
he'll
is
bounce back either.
the-
I think he'll play well. I don't think he'll be what he was
He
weeks
doesn't
1
think
and
he'll play
2.
well.
I'm just no. I know. I've got more. That's what I'm saying.
Can I tell you something real
It feels like he's there.
Because we got to get to Parkins Picks.
Yep. Okay. Take your time.
Mac Jones is my guy.
Yeah, we know.
Kittle is out. Jawan Jennings is out. Brandon Ayuk is out.
Oh, boy.
Ricky Pearsall is out. Guard is out. Ben Barch. I don't care.
Full steam ahead.
And Mac's not even that good.
And he's
He
not
don't
that
care.
good.
All gas,
He's not as
no
good as
brakes.
Justin Herbert. That's the way it goes. If on the show, I think it would help. If he's your guy,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Let me write this down.
If he's your guy,
But he's
he
clearly-
has to
Yes.
bounce back.
Clearly.
Well,
He has to.
It also
Okay, I got
is
it.
not
I'm learning so much.
accurate. It is not accurate to present it, and I'm not saying you're doing this, but as if he has now he is in the worst position of any quarterback in the league.
No, what I think
he's
is
not.
missing,
He's not.
David
I do
Worthy.
think they probably against Washington should run the ball a little bit more. But I also think that this is now a seminal moment for Herbert. Not this game, but this stretch where it's like, okay, we saw for the first time the production briefly match the talent.
Yes.
You do have a margin of error within the division with Kansas City trying to catch you and Kansas City having back-to-back really tough games as is. It would be a bad spot for them to lose this game at home against a Commanders team where Jaden's in his first game back from injury.
And you're favored.
That's what I'm saying. You're favored at home with a quarterback in his first game back from injury.
Yep.
You're not playing the Broncos pass rush this week without your tackles. You're playing the Commanders.
You would agree that you don't need him to throw 40 times or more. That's where
Figure out a way
30,
to win the game.
35 times.
Figure out a way to win.
I think he's going to do it because I believe in you.
Wow.
Thanks, buddy.
It's
You
time
believe in
now.
him, but he doesn't believe in
Why not?
believe in it.
Community
Just
property.
pointing out a fact.
It is time now because we have a short show tomorrow.
That's right.
That it's Parkins Picks times.
Wow.
I'm very excited.
As am I. I am seeing the NFL very clearly. This is the official pick segment. I plug into the matrix. I see the league clearly. I'm not going to let 3-0 change me. I'm not scared of picking big games, taking the points with Detroit. Play in the wood with the Chicago Bears. Easy, easier, and easiest. I know that I'm right.
Parkins Picks last week. Picked the Packers, that was an L. Picked the Ravens, that was an L. Picked the Bears
And that
in
was
Vegas.
skin of his teeth.
So moving up the season record to 6-6, currently in second place in a two-man race between Parkins Picks and Nick's Picks. Danny, what do you have for us today to get you back on
You're still
track?
wearing that?
I have winners.
I mean, it's about time, buddy.
Yeah, of course I'm still wearing this. I am the picks king of FS1, looking way down at Colin Cowherd in the standings, looking slightly up at Nick Wright, but that's okay. 6-6, we're treading water, 2 terrible beats. Let's get you right to the winners this week. We begin with the Rams tonight, 8.5-point favorites over the Niners. Mac Jones has no one to throw to. That's not good if you're trailing a game. The Rams will defend against Christian McCaffrey. The Rams will get out in front. Mac Jones will need to throw, and he won't know who any of his receivers are because this Rams defense, second in sacks, fourth in pressure percentage, fourth in takeaways, top 10 in opponents' points per game. Everyone talks about Puka Nacua. He deserves it. Sean McVay, Matt Stafford, Devontae Adams, Kyron Williams, and how they are a balanced offense. It's really the Rams' defense that's been carrying them through 4 games. I think
Not everybody's All-American?
I think Mac Jones struggles to score 17 points tonight. Rams in a blowout. A team that could have beaten the Rams last week, the Indianapolis Colts. I'll lay the 7 against Nick's Raiders.
Wow.
The game is back in Indianapolis. Yeah, I have no problem laying big numbers. Or you could say that I'm a public guy who's a little square going with big favorites. I know that Nick will say that in a second. But Indianapolis at home so far this year has been incredible on the offensive side of the ball. 31 points per game. Mac Jones basically perfect. At home, no punts, putting up points on 14 of their 17 drives in the Dome. But the thing, too, we all agreed that the Rams were good. I know Wilds was questioning it a little bit.
Big time.
The Colts easily could have beaten the Rams last week. A.D. Mitchell doesn't drop that ball. Holding penalty took a Jonathan Taylor. Touchdown off the board. I don't think that means the Rams are bad. I think it means that the Colts are on the Rams level, which means they're way ahead of the Raiders. Geno Smith leads the league in interceptions.
Yeah, it was gratuitous.
Last but not least, we'll take an underdog. Tampa plus 3.5 at Seattle. The Bucs are injured and Seattle's defense is good. But the Bake Show is just a criminally underrated and underappreciated player. If you look to where he's been as a road underdog in his career since he's been in Tampa, a whopping 12-2 against the spread, 2-0 outright this year as a road dog. They play close games, but if you get 3 and the hook, 3.5. I think it's a good number in this spot against two very evenly matched teams. I'll take Baker on the road plus the points, the Colts to blow out the Raiders, and the Rams get me to 7-6 on the season with a blowout win tonight over the Niners. Brew, must have been nice for you to be around some perfect picks for a change.
Look, I think you're wrong about Seattle and Tampa Bay. Tampa, I don't think they've played that well this year. They're beating teams with a 3-9 record combined. They meet an elite team last week and get shellacked in the first half. They try to make a comeback. Seattle's playing well. They're at home in this one. Seattle stabilized themselves, so I think the Seahawks will take out Baker and the Buccaneers.
Land the points.
I worry about, as much as I like Tampa, I worry about the injuries and it's the furthest flight of the year for them going from Tampa all the way to Seattle. But that's not the one I have issue with. I kind of like your side more. The Colts laying 7 is just too many points. It's just too many points, and it is a massive overreaction to what was a nice September by the Indianapolis Colts. The one thing they have not done well this year, Parco, is defend the run. I think they're 22nd in yards per carry. We just saw Ashton Genty, now that he's back in his upright Michael Myers stance, run all over your Chicago Bears last week.
The worst run defense in the NFL.
Well, all they need is for Geno not to turn the ball over, and they can win outright, much less cover a number of 7. I understand the Colts have been a nice surprise story, and the Raiders have been, at least for me, a bit of a disappointment. But this, in the summer, we would have thought this line was going to be 2.5. It's now 7. That's way too many points. The Raiders, if you got to pick a side in this game, and that might be a side we have tomorrow in Nick's picks, the Raiders getting the points is the better side.
Oh, little tease.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's going to take for you to believe in the Colts. They're good. They're a good team.
They might be good. They might be good. I'm open to the possibility that they're good, but even if they're good, I don't know that they're going to blow out the Raiders. The Raiders, Geno's playing the worst ball of the last 5 years for him. If he doesn't turn the ball over, they're fine. Their defense has been better than we thought it was going to be this year. Ashton Genty got his mojo going. The Raiders are not a bad team.
Excellent episode of Parkins Picks.
Thank you.
If you go 0-3, are we still wearing this?
I don't know. I'll just have to buy a new outfit.
Yeah,
with my winnings from last year.
Coming up,
Time for Frenemies, but it's a segment that demands a correction at the top of the show. I am a man of integrity. Won 65% last year against the spread in the NFL. Was very proud of it. And this year I'm off to a rough start. I'm a mere 6-6.
Yeah.
And Nick's like, that's embarrassing. That's terrible.
Yeah.
And then I said, oh, yeah, because you're 7-5.
No, you didn't say that. You just said you were looking up at me in the standings.
Which-
and I didn't correct you because I just figured you meant metaphorically you were looking up at me in the standings.
I'm taller than
also
you.
6-6. I never said otherwise.
Also
I'm
6-6.
also 6-6.
Also
I'm not
6-6.
making excuses. I'm not saying 2 horrific beats between 8 and 4. I'm 6-6. I had the Bengals plus 7.5. They got dog walked Monday night. It happens. Don't worry about it.
It's a bad pick.
That's is your correction of your own misinformation? Because I said
That's
nothing.
correct.
I just let it sit there. That's
There
fine.
was a lot of bad info percolating
Oh,
out there,
this guy,
permeating.
point thumbs, not fingers, Parco. My picks are public. You could have fact-checked it. Instead, you're putting so much on poor Troy's plate.
Troy, we got to do better.
Yeah, you got to do better. Let's go. You're also 1-3 in Frenemies.
I think we're tied.
Okay.
Let's talk Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, this is a tough game for you. He's facing off against the Prince, the battle of Nick Wright. Last week, Chiefs offense looked like the old Chiefs. They got Xavier Worthy back and everything was fixed. Also, was a little bit to do with the Ravens defense. All right, Nick, do you need to see another monster game from your guy Mahomes?
No, I don't need it, and I don't actually anticipate that we're going to get it at least early. I think the Chiefs are going to have one early goal in this game, which is not let the Jags defense turn them over, because that's what the Jags have feasted on this year. We've talked about it.
13 takeaways, right?
13 takeaways through 4 games after 9 last season. I mean, both of those stats are bananas. The fact that this year they're averaging more than 3 a game, and last year they averaged a half a turnover forced a game.
That's an improvement.
And so I think the Chiefs will have likely a conservative-ish game plan early. Now, what I do think is if they have a lead in the second half, that's when I could see them saying, you know what, let's work even more on spreading them out and the downfield passing attack, because I do think they're going to need that the following week against Detroit. But this game, listen, everybody knows I like Trevor. I believe in Trevor theoretically. But this year, he has not been good. And unless Trevor comes out and is dealing and it's like, oh, we're going to need to score 30 to win, I think the Chiefs will probably have let's see if we can just make sure the Jags have to consistently drive the length of the field. Can they do that? And so I would imagine, I don't think it's going to be a running game focused game plan, but short, quick passes, a lot like what we saw from the Chiefs offense last year. That's what I think is more likely in this game.
I don't know that you need to have a shootout and score 35 points or anything like that. But since the Chiefs have become really good defensively with Spagnuolo, when Patrick Mahomes plays well, they're basically undefeated. And I know I can parse like basically any Chief stat and make their record look really good. But if you just go like, hey, Pat, don't throw an interception going back to 2023. They are 20-1 in games where Mahomes throws 0 interceptions.
And the one loss was week 1 this year against the Chargers in Brazil.
When Worthy goes out on the 3rd play of the game.
Yeah.
Hey, Patrick, can you have a league average passer rating, like 95 or above? 18-1 in that span, 15-9 when he's below it. Can you get league average offensive production? 23 points. If they score 23 points, they're literally undefeated. So I don't know that it's monster game, but from here on out, because I have no faith in the Chiefs running game, it's whether it's short passes or deep passes, it's all going to be predicated on Mahomes producing.
Oh, that part's definitively true. That this offense is going to have to run, through him almost exclusively.
Yeah.
And you had yesterday a stat that I was unaware of in suitcase stats. Pack stats. I forget. Okay. My bad.
Never leave home without your stats.
And it was that the Chiefs are averaging 28 a game in
27.6 in the last 5 that Worthy played. The Steelers game last year, the 3 playoff games last year, and then
Baltimore. So what I do think, and this is, I think people underrated how ravaged by injury the Chiefs' skill positions were last season. And then because this year, we knew going into the year Rice was suspended, that was kind of baked in. And then when Xavier goes out instantly, it almost felt like, oh, we're going to run the same excuses script of he doesn't have the weapons. When, to your point, the reason I think the Worthy numbers are noteworthy is for a rookie receiver, I don't think you really are a number 1 receiver until the tail end of the year.
Right.
And so another way to look at it is Mahomes, as long as he has a number 1 receiver, they're scoring nearly 30 a game. It's also why I think that in a few weeks, when Rashee Rice takes the Juju role, and Juju's been really reliable, but he runs at this point, I think, a 5.040. I think the offense will be even better. But to me, the underlying, tell me if I'm right before we move on, sentiment of the question is, if they have a low scoring performance, are we going to say, oh, Ravens game was just about how bad the Ravens are, not so much about the Chiefs being back offensively, because I won't think that, because I think all they needed was competent offensive line play, which they've gotten, and wide receivers, at least one who can just get open on his own.
No, I agree with you, and you brought it up, but just to put a point on it, we should be open to the possibility that Xavier Worthy's awesome.
Yeah.
Like and what that would mean for the league, because we know that Rashee Rice is awesome, right? He had, 23 catches in the 2.5 games before he was out last year. If all of a sudden we're 2 weeks away from the Chiefs having 2 legit number 1 wide receivers, then the light show actually might be back.
Real quick, if Xavier's got to stay healthy, and we got to see what Rice looks like post-catastrophic knee injury.
Sure.
But if Xavier stays on the trajectory he's on, and Rice is in short order the player we saw him be for the final 8 games of his rookie year and the beginning of last year, and then all of a sudden your number 3 is Thornton and Kelsey is work in the middle, like you have a real dynamic core of pass catchers, which they have not had since 2021 was the last year they had dynamic pass catchers.
All right, let's talk Ravens and go to Baltimore here, where with Lamar Jackson out, we believe, although there's still a little bit of discussion that he could try to play. They're a 2.5-point underdog against the Texans. Ian Rappaport reporting, like I said, that he's trying to play despite not practicing with the hamstring injury. How would you look at this in terms of the Ravens season being over with a loss to the Texans?
So I will not think their season is over because, and I don't know if we can throw up their schedule or not, I think that even if they lose, I'm just being honest, even if they lose their next 2, if Lamar, assuming they lose their next 2 because Lamar is out, you know what I mean?
Yep.
If Lamar plays and they lose to the Texans, then it's like, okay, they're just bad for some reason all of a sudden. If Lamar is back after the bye, I will pick them to win 6 consecutive football games going into that Steeler game. The Bears would be their toughest opponent. The Dolphins are a mess. I don't trust the Vikings. The Browns are the Browns, the Jets, and then the Bengals with whatever it is. So I wouldn't say their season's over. What I will say is for the Ravens to, steal a line from Brew, because they're so S-Bob, it's less about are you going to stay afloat for the postseason, and are you finally going to live up to your preseason expectations, which right now, Danny, feel incredibly unlikely. They were the Vegas favorite by a little bit to win the Super Bowl, and the media favorite by a lot to win the Super Bowl, and right now they just don't look like a good team.
They don't, and I still think the offense will be fine. I still think that they will make the playoffs. But if I'm wrong about those things, which clearly now they've eliminated their margin for error and it's possible, it might present just an opportunity to say, all right, 18 years with John Harbaugh was a great run, but it's enough. And firing a guy because of a bunch of injuries will obviously feel unfair. But I covered the Cubs for a long time. Theo Epstein, the great baseball executive, would quote the great Bill Walsh, the great football coach, who would say, 10 years. That's the expiration date on leadership for both the leader and the organization, because you just need to have some change. And for Baltimore, it feels like the issues have been festering for longer than this. Like, since 2020, the Ravens lead the NFL in 10-point leads blown, 14 losses when they've been leading entering the fourth quarter, most in the NFL, 9 losses when they've had a 7-point lead entering the fourth quarter, most in the NFL. Like, they get out in front, and then they find a way to lose. And now with the injuries, at some point they're going to look around and say, maybe we should make a change. So they're not going to root for it in Baltimore. I understand that. But sometimes a lost season isn't the worst thing in the world for an organization to take a step back, to take 3 steps forward.
Well, listen, I believe that if they were to move on from the coach, it would be one of the most sought-after jobs in recent NFL history. Because
I agree. Lamar in his prime.
Right. And we were talking about, not taking a shot here, how sought-after the Charger job was going to be because of Herbert, and it was. And Herbert is not Lamar. You know what I mean? And
sure.
so it doesn't have the accomplishments of Lamar. I also think that I don't really blame Harbaugh for the last couple years, them not living up to expectations. We don't have to rehash it. I think that he has the expectations that a coach gets when you have an MVP at quarterback, And what sucks for him is, come the playoffs, he doesn't have an MVP at quarterback. But the reality is, Lamar's going to be the quarterback for the Ravens for the next decade, one would hope.
Yep.
So I am a believer in this. This is not a believer thing. It's a stat. Every coach-quarterback combo ever that has won a Super Bowl together won their first one within the first 5 years. This is year 8 for those guys together. And so
feels like if it was going to happen, it would have.
Yeah, and that's also kind of a Sean McDermott, Josh Allen stat as well. That's a separate issue. But yeah, I feel like those guys every year start the year on the hot seat. If you have a Mount Rushmore quarterback, every year you start the year on the hot seat because every year the expectation is deep playoff run.
Price of being S-Bob and going bust.
There you go. Yeah. Oh wow. That was good. I like that. That's
little turn of phrase?
There is. That was good.
Don't sound so surprised. Does that mean I won Frenemies?
We were in agreement, so it's a tie this week.
Oh, okay.
It's 3-1-1.
3-1-1.
Similar to the Packers record.
It's tough to keep track.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.